Hello everyone. So after the nice and clear presentation from Dr. Papapostoulou about the data integrity and data traceability, we will show you with a practical example how we can achieve compliance with the data integrity and traceability principle with a digital solution. So this is our mTrace software. First, just a small reminder about the sterility testing. Why we are focusing on sterility testing with mTrace? That's because of the criticality of the test. We all know what are the consequences of failing into detecting a contamination with a sterility test, or failing into demonstrating the sterility with a sterility test. And also because sterility tests are usually, most of the time, performed into isolators. And this is probably the environment where following written procedures and also recording every step of the workflow is the most difficult. So I will just do a small presentation, and then after Nicolas will make a short demo of mTrace with a typical SOP that we prepared. So just before, I just wanted to highlight some basic or typical example that from real cases that could happen during sterility test of failures or small mistakes. We are all humans. It can happen one day or another that something happens, or because also we are doing things with habits. And as I said, when working in isolators, it's really difficult to work with written procedures. So people usually work with the test in their mind and not really following exactly the written guidance. Just an example, for example, for preparing the test of sterility, an example of mistake of human error of, for example, all the media bottles that were loaded into isolators were thought to be from the same batch, but maybe one bottle in that was from a previous batch or another batch and was expired. And the operator thought that it was all the same batch and did not record all the bottles, and then the risk there is to use a product that has expired, making the test invalid and risking to have a false negative result if the performance of the media are not valid after expiry date. Another example of mistake could be, for example, an operator conducting an execution of a sterility test into an isolator, knowing that he has to test 20 samples for the batch he's testing. And usually there are always 5 spare units that are there just in case of mistake of something happening. And so he relies on the remaining vials that he has to test. But this time there were only 24 vials and not 25. So he stopped when there was 5 vials remaining. So in the end, he tested only 19 and not 20. So in that case, the sampling plan has failed. The proper number of vials were not tested, so the result is not valid. Another examples. So I will not give names. They are from customers, and an example of the reading, for example, the canisters, where the canisters are usually placed on trays or racks into the incubator by days of reading, but a canister was maybe not on the proper shelf or not in the proper rack in the incubator, and the operator read all the canisters, discarded them, and then was writing the result afterwards, and then realized that actually he had one result more than what he has to read. One canister was actually at the wrong place and was read at 13 days of incubation and not 14. So in that case, the test is not valid, has to be reperformed. In that specific case, resampling was not possible, so the batch had to be discarded. So it was hundreds of thousands of euros of scrap just because of this small mistake. So just to introduce our system mTrace. mTrace is a software. Just to explain you how it works very easily. This is a software that can be installed whether on the tablet that you see here and also that we have on the table, or it can be installed on any computer from any company. It can be also installed on company servers. The software is where we can plan activities, where we can create digital SOPs. This software, we also take control of the SynBioPump. So our SynBioPumps can be controlled remotely by mTrace. It will record and track all the activities and also generate reports with QA/QC approval and archiving and so on. To that software can be connected a mobile device where an mTrace app is also available, and this allows to some mobility. We know that for sterility testing, it's not just what's happening with the pump, but sometimes it's also for the preparation of the test, also the readout that is performed in the incubator. So this mobile device can help to scan consumables, for example, to record any activities that are not performed in the isolator where the pump is, and also to take photos, for example, to file also the proof of the reading of the canister. mTrace has also a voice recognition feature, which allows to use a headset. When we are working in the isolator, we have our hands in the gloves, we have no access to pen or anything to write. And so the instruction can be displayed by voice to the technician, and also he can answer questions by saying basic answers, and the system will recognize and record the execution of the answers. The pump is there mostly a slave to mTrace. It will be remotely controlled with a digital SOP that will automatically set the right parameter for pumping, timing, and so on. We will still use the screen as it will be used to display instructions, so we can really create any type of SOPs with whatever details we want to see in there. There is nothing blocked. And it will really display the instruction to the technician that will confirm, for example, by pressing the knob of the pump that yes, this operation is performed, we can go to the next step. Our digital SOPs are typically divided in work units because not everything for the sterility test is performed at the same place. For example, a part where it's about the workflow preparation, so going shopping in the stock to retrieve all the material needed for the test. The testing in itself with the execution of the test of sterility, and then the examinations that can happen multiple times depending on your procedure, on how many times you need to read your canisters. That's a typical example, but we can create whatever is fitting with the customer workflows. So just in a nutshell, our mTrace electronic software, the benefits are to really trust in your data, to make sure that you record everything and there is no question about the validity of the test. That also there is a reduction in the risk of human error because all the procedure can be displayed to the operator. It's directly visible. It facilitates the investigation in case of out of specifications. It's also time saving for documentation management. We have examples of customers that spend hours every week to record everything, all the batch numbers that are used for consumables and so on. And also, it's a really powerful training tool for new operators. We know that most of the time sterility tests are performed by skilled personnel that are there for a long time, knowing exactly what they need to do. But think about when newcomers will come, how do we train them? How long does it take to train them? And with which support? So mTrace can really also be a very good, nice tool for that. So that's the end for the slides, and maybe now let's go to the practical session.
Yeah. Thank you, Yoann. So I will have the task to do a live demo that is at the same time broadcasted. So we have a huge setup here to make sure that you are able to capture the handling and also the screen that will be connected in a minute. So what I will present you are two parts of the workflow process for sterility testing. The first part will be the preparation phase, and the second part will be the execution. Okay, and we will discuss a little about the readings after. So as an operator for sterility testing, I was assigned the task to prepare a sterility test by my manager via mTrace. And I will start my task. I need to log on, of course, because it's a 21 CFR 11 software. And I need my login to access and record the data. And here I will start my task. I am the operator mTrace and launch. how many batches I will test this time. I will test one batch. And I can enter a batch ID, for example, mol sign. And now I will navigate to my storage room with my mobile device and collect all the material that I need for this working session. So I am logged in, and I will start the task that has been assigned to me. So I will read it loud for you. I need to scan an FTM bottle. So FTM bottle. Everything is displayed also on the screen of the shuttle, but I don't need it for this step because I'm somewhere else. Then I need to scan a TSB bottle. Then I need to scan a fluid A bottle. And a sterility test device for the execution. If any of these consumables was expired or was not the right reference for this SOP, I would be informed by mtrace that I have scanned the wrong consumable. So I can correct, I will not be blocked in the process. I can correct and command, okay, I have taken the wrong material and I will change it and scan again. Then I am automatically logged out from the system because I have finished my task. And I will be able to start the execution of the test. So now going back to the isolator room. I have my second task that is available, which is the execution of the test. I will start it. And go inside the isolator to perform my test. The mobile device can still be used during this execution. It will be outside of the isolator with a mount on the window of the isolator so that even if it is outside, I will be able to scan any consumable that I am using at the time I am using it. So the pump is preparing, and the SOP that we have designed for this demo purpose is really quick and may not have all the steps that you have yourself in your SOPs, but you can customize it, and the instructions will be displayed on the screen. So here, for example, on the screen is written, open the sterility test blister, identify the canister, and press the knob when it is done. This instruction comes from your own SOP. It is written like that in your own SOP. So I will open my blister with a strong noise, install it in the Symbio pump. I will label my canister. And when I am done, I will press on the knob, which for mtrace is a confirmation that I have done a step. That means that every step that you think is mandatory to be assessed by the operator and written in the final report, we can integrate it in the mtrace execution. And now the next information displayed on the screen, place the sterility test canister in drain tray 2, insert the tubing in the pump head, verify that the tubing is properly installed, and press the knob. The pump head will close. And I will carry on with the test. So inserting the needle into the fluid A for the pre-wetting step. It's difficult to do that from behind. Huh? It's a challenge. Huh? Press the knob. So here I'm using the computer, but because I'm behind. Otherwise, you need only the screen of the pump. And I will start pumping, invert the bottle. And when I am done, I will stop. The pump will automatically go to the next phase, and every step is recorded with timestamp, user that has performed the test. And if anything is wrong, it will be recorded into the report, the final report. I will just skip a couple of phases to show you additional steps. So here, I am asked if the product container has a QR code, because you can create also your own label via your LIMS system or via mTrace to stick on your product container and scan it. So here I will say yes. And I will scan from behind the window my product, which is, let's say this is my product. And then I carry on with the test. So I will perform filtration of the product. I will perform the rinsing, the transfer of the media fluids until the end. So I will not go through all the process steps, but I think you have understood the principle. And then the last part, which is the readings, is done later on. So we have a specific method for that. We have scheduled a reading every day, but of course we can adjust it if you do only one at day 7 and one at day 14. And the final reading, 14, 2 operators are needed to enter results for this for each canister, so that we conform to the 4A's principle. You can also take a picture of the canister to attach it to the report. And the final report that you get can be customized to the level of details that you want to appear on the report. It can include up to all the parameters from the pump, meaning the pump speed profile, so that you have the profile of the execution for the speeds, the pressure sensor, so that you have also the information about if the canisters were incubated under pressure or not, so that it will facilitate later on all the investigation that you could conduct in case of positive. We have seen that interviews with operators are difficult 14 days after the execution of the test. So that is really a support for the operator as well to help justify what has been performed during the test execution. So thank you for your attention. We are open to questions.